Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today in practice with Asana Soul Practice. If you don't know me, my name is Chelsea. And if you do know me, my name is still Chelsea. So today we're going to work on a hip mobility practice. I use a lot of imagery in my own classes, and so we're going to experiment with that a lot today. First, I want you to come to sit up on a block. So if you don't have one, it's totally fine. I would grab a textbook or anything that's just going to prop you up, give you an elevated spine. I'll show you how to sit from the side view. We're going to start in Vajrasana, the seat of the hero. So knees together, heels apart, cupping the block, inner arches of the feet hugging in, and all 10 toenails are flat on the ground. If this seat is not comfortable for you, it's completely fine. It's just my preferred seat. You want to be able to adjust, right? And the only way that you can ground down from the base level of your body is if you have a comfortable seat. So when you arrive there, start to close the eyes and deepen the breath. And just notice the arrival of the body. And notice yourself in the center, allowing a mediation, a welcoming meditation, and the circumference around you. And if you feel uncomfortable in any way, just notice it and maybe think about why. Why is my face really tight? Why am I clenching my jaw? Even for me, I'm like recording this video and I'm like a little shaky, a little nervous. So just notice it and take a deep breath in, filling the belly, the ribs, the chest, and then the throat. Hold the breath really ripe and full at the crown of the head. And then exhale down the front of the body. Pause at the base once again. So in order to go on through practice and feel any type of elevation, you need to ground down, right? And that's what we're doing through a hip practice. The hips are the largest joint in the body. It's actually where we store the most nonsense, tension, drama, and a lot of ancestral trauma starts there. So we're going to do a little bit of pranayama, and if this is new to you, it's totally fine. You can just think of it as aerating and oxygenating the lungs. Put your hands onto your hips. Start to tilt your pubis way forward and then shift the weight back. And once you notice that, you should really once again just be in the center. So close the eyes and envision a narrative thread that's dropping from the universe through the crown of the head, through the palate, through the floor of the heart, the center of the torso, and then down into the perineum, what roots you. The sitting bones are like an equilateral triangle. The left, the right, and then the third foot, which is in the center. Inhale to press forward, and then exhale to sit back. And make it almost like a moving meditation. If you're somebody that usually goes really slow in life, this is your chance to speed it up. And if you're somebody that's always on the go, you always got somewhere to go, this is where you slow it down. So inhale to come forward, exhale to go back. Know that when you're coming forward, you're really potentiating through the lungs, welcoming more air in. And then as you exhale, you're becoming a little bit more reflective, contracting, and looking inward. In, out, in, out, in, out. One of my favorite teachers ever, when she taught me this, she would say, pubis anus, pubis anus, pubis anus. It's a little crazy, but you're at home, so smiling is optional. Keep going. In, out, in, out, in, out. And then find yourself in the center. Take a deep breath in and start to stir it up. So first go clockwise to the right, knowing that when you go to the right, you're spinning with the hands of time. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6, 9, and then back to 12. And this is our solar nature, right? It's really expressive and expansive. It's the hand that a lot of us write with. We sign checks here. We make deals with this hand. Now start to go the other way, counterclockwise, spinning against time. The yoga practice really allows us to develop personal insight and think about our lunar nature, right? The left side now, the more feminine, the side of the heart, as well as the masculine. So now you can go back and forth, noticing which side you go towards habitually, which side you really favor, and which one you don't like. And maybe change the position of your hands. So I have really short knees. I don't really like to put my hands here. Sometimes I like to put my hands on my heels so that I can feel a little bit more grounded. And I'm back in the center, shifting the weight forward and back. Just a little bit longer. In, out, in, out, in, out. Last little bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find yourself in the center. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. 3 more sips through the nose. Hold and be full. And then when you're ready, exhale. Sigh the breath out. Put yourself in the center once again. Meditate, modulate. Take a minute. So as you inhale, you should really feel effort and fire rising up the back of the body in ascension. As you exhale, this is water descending down in front of you, the image of grace, allowing all of your efforts to be very graceful. And then whenever you're ready, you can come onto the mat to a tabletop position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm going to show you a nice little way to measure so that you know that you're at a true 90-degree angle. You can place one block or whatever you were sitting on right behind the forearm, and then the other block, or the same block, in front of your knees. Make sure that the palms are shoulder width distance apart, and you're making a little suction cup with the center of the hand, pressing really firmly down into the knuckle pads. Make sure that the tops of the soles of the feet are really pressed down, and try to cross-reference. So think about the pinky of the right foot and the pinky on the left hand. Trace it over to the right pinky and then the pinky on the left foot. And now you should really feel like you're in the center. Start to move through cats and cows, inhaling as you round in this time and exhaling to flush everything out. So in, out, in, out. Oh, I messed up the breath pattern, sorry. It's in, out, in, out, in, out. So sometimes, especially if you're on an on-demand platform, you've practiced a lot of yoga before. And we do things habitually because we're taught things for so long. So usually you breathe in, you look out, you exhale to come in. But breathing in, looking inward, is another way to gain a lot of insight. And when you breathe out, as you look forward, you're just flushing out any stagnation that's developed. So once again, change it up. See how fast I'm going? I used to move really slow when I did this. And then whenever you're ready, find yourself in the center. Flip the palms a full 180 degrees so the fingers are facing the knees. And this is a nice way to open up through the collarbones. So the hip joint and the pelvis is just like the collarbones. Everything really matches up. When you're in your flipped wrist variation, start to stir it up. Go one way, shift the weight forward, and then go the other way, shifting the weight back. Feels really nice. Start to articulate through the neck, and think of these little joints as bodies of water. I have really bad arthritis. I know you would never be able to believe it, but the space in my joints gets really stagnant, and stagnancy usually breeds infection in a river or any body of water. So we're moving through joint space, lubricating and moving spherically to gain a different perspective. And then when you're ready, flip the palms the regular way. Come on to tented fingertips this time. Extend the right leg way back behind you so that the heel is stretching towards the back of the space, and look forward. Breathe in, hug the low belly in. And exhale, set the right knee back down. And then extend the left leg to its own side, right back behind you. Draw the heel back in space. Look forward, spread through the collarbones, stretch through the throat. And exhale, set the knee down. So we're going to do something a little bit differently. I'm going to come to face you, but we're still in that tabletop. If you want to be on tented fingertips, you can. I'm actually going to use blocks this time, just to change it up. You're going to extend the right leg out to its own side and really make sure that the outside of the heel is rooted down. Straighten the leg for a moment and just shift the weight forward and back. And then whenever you're ready, start to bend into that knee and open everything up, just like you were doing in the tabletop. So I have a little bit of tightness in the backs of my legs. I have really tight hamstrings. So I'm going to come onto my heel and flex my foot, shifting the weight forward and back, opening up through the back of the leg. And then whenever you feel like you've had enough of that, set the foot down, walk the hands back towards the knee, the left knee, and come up to stand on your shin. So bringing the hands to the hips, extend the right leg down towards the right ankle and reach the left arm all the way up, setting up for Parigrasana gate pose. Look at the left hand, breathe in, and then exhale as you slowly sit the left hand down beside the knee and reach the right arm all the way up to the sky. Good. And then come all the way back up, hands at the hips. Set the palms down in front of you. Hug the right knee into the chest, super tight. Hover, hover, hover. Low belly sets in. Good. And then drop the right knee. And then extend the left leg out to its own side. Same thing. But you'll notice that one side is always a little bit different than the other. So as I'm shifting the weight forward and back, my heel really wants to lift. I'm trying to really press down firmly into the outside of the foot so that I can open up the inside of the groin. And then I'm going to flex the foot towards my face. Try to sink my seat back towards my heels. Bend into the left knee if it feels good for you. You can come onto the forearms if you have a little bit more space in there. Feels nice. And then whenever you're ready, start to walk the hands back towards the body. Come all the way up to stand on the shin and bring the hands to the hips. Slide the left palm down the calf and reach the right arm all the way up. Open up the right lung. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, slowly start to set the right hand down. Reach the left arm all the way up to the sky this time. So it's this sense of duality and opening up through both sides to have a better understanding of the center. Come all the way up, bring the hands onto the hips, walk them forward onto the ground or a block, whatever you're using. Hug the left knee in for a little bit of core engagement. Take a moment, round through the spine. And then whenever you're ready, just set the left knee down. If you're on the side of the mat, we're going to come to the front now. Back to that tabletop. Spread through the palms. Separate the knees, hips with distance apart. Tuck the toes and then lift your hips up high to your first downward facing dog. So I'm going to adjust my dog, wag my tail, shake my head from side to side. And then we can roll out to a plank position. See how I had to walk my feet back a little bit, draw the heels back in space, and stay there. So hugging the low belly in, keeping the vision forward and never down. Take a moment, and then bend the knees, lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Receive the energy through the palms, up the sides of the arms, down the torso, down towards the outer hips, the legs, And then the heels will draw down in space. Good. Roll forward to a modified upward facing dog. So I love this. Hug the low belly in, really lift through the hot thighs and draw the heels back. Bend the knees, lift the hips up high. Down dog. And then walk your hands back towards your feet so that you're at a forward fold. This time, really try to measure up. So I'm going to separate my feet hips width distance apart once again, trying to use this little variation of measuring the foot. Or you can just bring 2 fists within the inner arches of the heels and hang really low. The belly should be draping on top of the thighs. And a forward fold is how you get over yourself, you know, a hang. It's important, shifting the weight forward into the toes and then back into the heels, mediating yourself in the center of the arches of your feet. For some of us, you kind of need to turn the heels out a little bit more so that you're really parallel and even. And then take a minute to grab opposite elbows and now shift the weight from side to side. So I know we're here for a little bit, but opening up through the backs of the legs will definitely impact the hips. Keeping hold of the elbows, bend into the knees generously and start to roll all the way up. Pause in the center as if you're coming up for chair pose. Take a moment. And then press into the feet, bend into the knees. Slight back bend as you come up. This time straighten through the legs, hook the thumbs, and take a tick-tock to the left and then to the right. So you're opening up the lungs, opening up the living quarters of your body. And your body is really like a house. You have the basement floor, the hips that are super junky. You never like to go there. And then the center of the torso is the living room. It's very communal. And you want to create space so that you can invite more friends over. I love my friends and parties. Okay. Allow the arms to come down by the sides, palms face forward, Tadasana mountain pose. Take a moment to once again put yourself on that plumb line. Envision the golden axis. Reach the arms all the way up, press up. And then exhale, hinge from the hips, dive it down, forward fold. Let your head hang. Walk forward once again to a plank position. Yeah, stay there. And then hug the elbows in halfway. Roll over the toes, sweep it forward and up. Really stretch through the front half of the body. And then exhale, press back. Down dog. So let's lift the right leg up and back first. No bending the knee, no pointing the toes, no nothing like that. Just really keeping the pinky toenail edge side of your foot down. You really want to flex the foot so that the heel is extending back. And then draw the right knee in. Lunge the foot forward so that you're in a low lunge. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes, and come all the way up for Anjaneyasana. So this is a really deep stretch. You want the pubis, the navel, and the sternum to all be extending forward, biceps in line with the ears. Was out of breath there? Okay. So we all have patterns. Some of us like to keep the arms up. I'm working on back bending, so I've been grabbing hold of the opposite elbows so that I can really create an arc line for the front half of my body. And then one more breath in. On the exhale, just place the hands down to frame the front foot, tuck the back toes, and sweep the right arm all the way up for a big, easy twist. Breathe in. Exhale the breath out. Last one, breathing in. And then on the exhale, you're going to listen up. Come to the outside of both feet. This is called boomerang pose. So it's really crazy opener for the outside of the hips. Start to extend the right arm back behind you and look back. One more deep breath. Swim stroke the right arm forward, 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 coming back through that low lunge. And then step the left foot back a little bit more. Root the outside of the sole of the foot down so that it's at 45 degrees. Keep a slight bend in the front of the right knee, and then start to straighten over the leg any amount, setting up for pyramid pose. So I've already practiced a couple of times today, so I'm open here. But if you haven't, you might need those blocks or textbooks or anything that's just going to give you a little bit more leverage. If you need to keep a bend in the leg, you're more than welcome to. Try to really keep the hips square. Inhale to look all the way forward and through. Really peel the chest off of the top of the thigh. And then whenever you're ready, exhale to fold. Just surrender. The crown of the head hang. One more deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to tuck the toes so that you're back in that low lunge. Breathe in, look forward. Hands come down to frame the front foot. This time, step the left foot forward outside of the right. So you're in a cross-legged forward fold. This is a really crazy variation, but I love it. Try to make the pinky toes parallel to one another. The heels are touching, and then just drive it down. Slowly press into the feet, roll one vertebra up at a time, with the head as the last thing to arrive. Whoop, wobbly. It's all about balance. Okay, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, dive it down, fold forward, let it go. Lunge the right foot back, and then the left foot outside of the right, cross-legged downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward and through to a modified up dog, so you'll definitely feel it in the thighs here. And then exhale, press back. Left foot forward, look forward. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. So yeah, because you're in the cross-legged variation, you're definitely going to have to adjust a little bit. It's okay. One of my teachers tells me you don't do yoga to get better at yoga. You do it to have a better life. So you just have to adjust, and we all have patterns. We all got to, chill out a little bit. So untuck the back toes, sweep the arms up, Anjaneyasana. This time I'm going to hook the thumbs, spread through the fingertips, and take TikToks here so that I can open up through the sides of the waist. So we have a top, a bottom, and a middle, a left, a right, and a middle, front, back, middle, and this is the duality of the body. Little TikToks, dropping the hips, making sure that the knee is still directly over the ankle. And then whenever you're ready, swim stroke the palms down to frame the front foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and reach the left arm all the way up. So reach the left arm up, take a moment, breathe in, draw the heel back in space, and then whenever you're ready, boomerang pose. So come onto the outsides of the soles of both feet. Reach the left arm up a little bit more to find length. Allow the crown of the head to extend long. And then reach the left arm behind you. Lift the hips a little bit more. So you're bearing the weight in the right palm. Take one more deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to swim stroke that left arm forward and through so that you're back in that low lunge. Pop the back heel in a little bit, 45 degrees, and straighten over the left leg any amount. So this time I'm not going to use the blocks. I'm going to use my fingertips, hollow out through the center of the palm. I'm going to keep a little bend into the knee. And one way to continue to have the hips, square, is if you just take your thumb and bring it to the inside of that left hip crease. So you can already see I was kind of out here a little bit. Now I'm back in the center. It's definitely a tighter area for me. Inhale to look forward. And then exhale to fold. Sometimes you can even flex the foot towards the face, coming onto the heel. Let the head hang and just observe the breath. Whenever you're ready, start to peel the chest off of the top of the thigh, keeping the back toes tucked like you're in that low lunge variation. Look forward, and then pop the right foot outside of the left, cross-legged forward fold. Dive it down, let it go. Press into the feet, slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Head is the last thing to arrive. Inhale to reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, dive it down, let it go. This time left leg goes back. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. And then right foot outside of the left, down dog, breathe in, hug the low belly in. Inhale, roll forward to that cross-legged plank. And then if you want to try chaturanga, this is where you do it. Inhale, roll over the toes, sweep it forward and up. And then exhale, press back. And then just regular down dog. So separate the feet, hips width distance apart. Deep bend in the knees. Really hinge from the hips. So the down dog should be super acute. I don't know what my down dog looks like here, but hope it's okay. And then separate the feet, mats width distance apart this time. Deep, deep, deep bend in the knees. Hope this isn't. Okay. There we go. Now you're going to lift the left hand so that you're in a kind of not three-legged dog, but you have 3 points of contact. Take a moment here. Notice how that feels. And then set it down. And then lift the right hand. Got ahead of myself there. Just notice how it feels. Take a moment. Set the hand down, lift the left hand, bring it palm facing up onto the low back, and then come forward to a one-arm plank. Oof, it's hard. Okay, kind of like we were doing before. Come onto the outside of the right foot, inside of the left foot for a Vashisthasana variation. You can reach the left arm up overhead, or keep it behind the low back. Then whenever you're ready, come back through the center and then set the palm down. Press the hips up high to a downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Lift the right hand, bring it to the low back. Try to bend deeply into the knees once again if I didn't say that. And then roll forward. Come onto the outside of the left foot, inside of the right. Reach the right arm up. And then whenever you're ready, come back through the one-arm plank. Press it back to a regular down dog. This time lunge the right foot outside of the right pinky on the right hand. And then the left foot outside of the left pinky, coming down for Malasana or the yogi squat. So I'm going to come down and sit on a block. This is definitely if you feel like your heels are lifted. Guys kind of have this issue sometimes. And you can just bring the elbows to the insides of the thighs, insides of the knees. Create a resistance and a restriction. Pressing the palms together, the thumbs pressing into the sternum, and lifting everything up. So this pose can bring up a lot of things for a lot of different people. For some of us, it's very meditative and contemplative, very calming. For some of us, it's a little frustrating, agitating. It's cool. Just acknowledge it. Now, if you want to stay in the yogi squat, you can. If you want to fire it up a little bit, you're going to press into the feet, stretch through the legs, reach the arms up, come all the way up. Breathe in. On the exhale, bend into the knees, sink the seat all the way down. Press into the feet, lift all the way up. On the exhale, sink your seat, lower down. One more just like that. Breathing in, press into the feet, rise up. Oh, And then exhale, lower it down, sink your seat. Plant the palms in front of you. Step the feet in, hips width distance apart. You can remove the block or whatever you were sitting on, and we're going to set up for Padangusthasana. So you're going to bring the peace sign fingers and the thumb right around the big toe. Make sure that the feet are parallel once again. Inhale, look forward, really scoop out the midline. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Allow the elbows to go out to either side. I would say this time really shift the weight into the sides of the feet. And just let the head go. Bring the awareness to the low back. Take one more deep breath in. And then release the grip, plant the palms. Vinyasa of your choice. I'm just going to step back to a dog. And then whenever you're ready, reach the right leg up, point through the toes this time, open up the hips and bend the knee. Be really generous, take circles one way, and then go the other. Feels nice. And then step the right foot forward, cartwheel the back heel down. Open it up for a warrior two. Take a moment to adjust your stance. The front heel can be intersecting the back inner arch. And keep the drishti set. The heart is open to 2 o'clock. Envisioning something, anything. Don't want the mind to be too scattered here. And then straighten over the right leg. Tip it up and back for a reverse triangle. On the bottom of the exhale, shift the weight way, way, way forward out in front of you. Cut through that right hip crease. And lower the right palm, setting up for triangle pose. So if you have a block, I would bring it to the outside of the foot. I would. Some people do it on the inside, but I like the outside. And triangle pose is like pulling you in a million different directions. So really try to find your ground of being once again. Really press firmly into that front big toe. Open up through the hips. You can bring your left hand behind the low back just to push the sacrum forward a little bit. And then extend the left arm up whenever you're ready. Both wrists should be in line with one another. I'm making a fist, trying to come out of the low back. You can also start to lift the right hand. And then whenever you're ready, come all the way up to stand. So you're going to face both toes in now for a wide-legged situation with the feet, extending the arms out long. Bring the hands to the hips. Take a moment to find length and feel empowered here. And then on the exhale, you can just fold it all the way down. The heart is going to lead the way. So the chest falls. Ooh, feels good. And then set your hands down in front of you. For the first variation, let's walk our hands underneath the face and hug the elbows in halfway like you're coming for chaturanga arms. So if you want to stay still here, that's fine. Just make sure that you're still really rooted through the outsides of the soles of the feet. And if you want to work on an inversion practice today, more than welcome to. I'm not going to do that, but you're at home, so I don't know what you're doing. So just hang out here. As you can see, I have like a lot of pent up something, so I get a little antsy and I can't stay still, but we're just learning together. One more deep breath in. And then start to walk your hands forward out in front of you. Back to the front of the mat, bend into the right knee, look forward, low lunge. And then exhale, press back with the hips high to a downward facing dog. Should already really start to feel much longer through the right side. Now walk the hands back towards the feet so that you're at that forward fold once again. Measure out the hip distance of the feet and set up for Padahastasana. So this is stand on your feet pose. I literally teach this for every class. I don't know. It's a classic. So slide the palms underneath the heels and make sure that the toes are pressed against the wrist to give a nice little massage to that area. That's why we flip the wrists at the beginning of class. Bend into the knees so deeply. You want to imagine that your knees are drawing towards your armpits like a ball fits in a mitt. Look forward. Really try to create a back bend. Soften through the shell of the back. And then whenever you're ready, exhale to fold. Allow the elbows to go out to either side. And this time you really want to shift the weight forward into the toes and then back into the heels. And notice if you're somebody that's always rushing towards the future and you feel really comfortable there, or if you're somebody that's in the heels, kind of stuck in the memories, always want to be in the center. Let the thoughts just kind of go here, sway from side to side. And then slowly start to slide the palms from underneath the feet. Look forward for a minute, and then walk the hands out in front of you. Plank, hips high, down dog. Left leg up this time. Point through the toes, open up the hips, bend the knee. Aerate, oxygenate, find length through the sides of the waist. Go one way and then the other. And then lunge the left foot forward, setting up for warrior two. I'm going to move this way so that my butt isn't facing you. Warrior two. Anchor the back heel down and come all the way up. So this is a hip opener once again. If you notice that you kind of have like a warrior one stance and you're like over here, try to just open up, even bring your hands to your hips to find a little bit more of that sense of grounding once again. And then bend a little bit deeper into the left knee. Look forward. Breathe in. As you exhale, straighten over the left leg, tip it up and back for that reverse triangle. Opening up through the left lung. And then shift the weight forward, 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 cutting through that hip crease, setting up for triangle pose. So this time I'm going to bring my hands to my ankle, my right hand behind the low back, making it a back bend. Feeling really grounded, rooted, stable in the hips. And then reaching the right arm up whenever you're ready. One more deep breath in. Exhale the breath out. And then press into the feet, come up to stand. You should be facing the other side of your mat now. You're going to bring both toes in as much as you can. Really root down through the outsides of the feet. Bring your hands to your hips and start to fold all the way down. So I'm sure you've been here before. There's so many different things that you can do. I'm going to give you a few suggestions. You can interlace the hands behind the low back. Really press the heels of the palms against one another and start to extend the arms up and overhead. If this doesn't work for you, if you feel like you've got a really open heart and you don't want to do that anymore, it's fine. You can drop the arms. Interlace your hands behind the nape of the neck. Hug the elbows in towards the ears and just really be cognizant of the breath, the sound of the inner ear. In through the nose and out through the nose. My favorite variation here is setting the palms down and starting to walk them back behind you. Let the crown of the head really hang. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to walk the hands forward, 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 out in front of you. Walk them back to the front of the mat. Low lunge on the left side. Tuck the back toes. Step it back, downward facing. Hips high. Bend into the knees. Wrap the armpits towards the heart. Direct the breath towards the back of the heart. that little shell. Stick the butt way, way up and wag your tail. Breathe in. Exhale the breath out. Breathing in. And exhale the breath out. And then on the next breath, lift the right leg, point through the toes. Setting up for a pigeon on the right side, really slide that shin forward. Allow the right knee to graze behind the right wrist and start to extend the left leg back behind you. So I don't have a blanket or a pillow here. I'm just going to use a block, I think, underneath my sitting bones. Find length through the top half of the body. For some of us, actually for me, I think I'm going to stay here because I'm always folding forward. But if you want to fold forward, definitely do that. Just make sure that you breathe in first and find some length through the spine. Taking a minute to open up through the front of the left thigh. Spreading through the collarbones, even if you are folded forward and you're making this a little bit more restorative. All of these poses are active in their own way, so mediate. Figure out what serves you. And then whenever you're ready, not going to hang out in the pigeon too long, you're going to extend the left leg out in front of you, so shift the weight onto the right sitting bone, straighten through the left leg, flex the foot towards the face, shift your weight over towards the left hand side, or I should say the torso, reach the arms all the way up, and then exhale, fold forward any amount. You can grab for the outside of the heel. You can even grab for the big toe, wrapping the peace sign fingers around it. I would say keep a little bend in the left knee just so that you don't strain too much. And if you want to reach the right arm up overhead, you can. 5 deep breaths here. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Not 5. Breathe in. Exhale. And then come all the way up to sit. You're going to set the hands down, swing the left leg back behind you, tuck the back toes, lift the right leg, 3-legged dog. And then regular down dog, lift the left leg up and back when you're ready, setting up for pigeon on the left side. Swing the left leg forward. And, the shin doesn't have to be super parallel to the front of the mat. I would say as parallel as you have to make it. Stay there for a minute. Whenever you're ready, you can definitely fold forward. Whatever works for you. I'm going to stay up, opening up through the outsides of the hips. And then whenever you're ready, start to plant the palms and come to sit up on the left sitting bone. So reaching the right leg out in front of you, flexing the foot towards the face. Take a moment to shift the torso to the side. Reach the arms all the way up. And then exhale to fold. I'm actually going to stay seated up this time. See, my body is different than everyone's. But I need to work on some grounding, so that's what I'm going to do. Not being so in it all the time. So really setting the inside of the thigh against the outside of the foot. It's a nice way to sit yourself up. Janu Shirsasana. Bending into that right knee a little bit if you have to. Notice that I'm super grounded, but I'm still opening up through the top half of my body. Hopefully you heard the cracks there. And then whenever you're ready, start to come all the way up. Swing the right leg behind you. tuck the back toes, and press back to dog. Good. And then to seal it up, just drop the knees, open them wide, bring the big toes to touch, sink your seat back towards your heels, child's pose, press the forehead down into the mat, close the eyes. You're more than welcome to stay here if that drained you. If not, come up to sit whenever you're ready. And close the eyes. Take a moment once again to bring your awareness in, your intellect, your attention. Sometimes it's so hard to really be able to grapple and sit with ourselves. Bring the hands to the heart, press the thumbs to the sternum, and take a moment for gratitude, trying to be grateful for the circumstances that led you here to watch this video, for your yoga practice. Take a deep breath in and exhale the breath out. Namaste. Thank you.